Hi Libra, welcome to your March 2020 love reading. It's Rena here. So I apologize for the late production of these videos, but I'm recovering from the flu, and this is the first day that I felt halfway decent. So still, regaining my strength. So in any case, better late than never. This is the Ethereal Visions Tarot deck. This is the back of the deck. I think Libras will appreciate this beautiful design with the gilded little pieces in there. Ooh, the Tower card is so nice for this one. It's so elegant. Five of Cups, okay. There's just some of these cards I'm still familiarizing myself with the images because I haven't used it that much. I have used it, but not that much. Oh, you got a few major arcana cards. That could mean a very eventful month romantically. And it makes sense astrologically because especially as we get to the end of the month, and the sun goes into Aries, that's your opposite sign, and that's in the 7th house that you rule, which is relationships. But this is also for people who are single, so just to let you know. Oh, wow, I got the same. I think I got this with Aries. Was it Aries? It's funny with the opposite sign, so I don't know. So the heart of the matter is the King of Pentacles, so I'm going to say pretty much the same thing as I said for Aries. If this is a person, this could be somebody who's a stabilizing influence, who's kind of like a protective or, especially financially protective, but also just in terms of feeling a sense of somebody who's a rock for you type of person, because this is earth energy. They could literally be in a Capricorn, which you tend to be attracted to, Libra, or a Virgo or Taurus. And, it's a very interesting question, because if you are with this person currently, it can sometimes be that person, because I'm sorry, I'm saying in mid-sentence, but the past position is the Tower card. So this can be like, some kind of a calamity or some kind of unwanted event that happened, maybe like romantically. It could be like a somebody cheating on you and you just like completely shut down, or even like losing your job if that has happened and this person was there. And the problem with that is that, let's say this person is a narcissist, and I didn't mention this in the other person, in the other sign whose central theme was also the King of Pentacles. I think it was Aries, not sure. But let's say that this person came along when you were at your weakest point. And this does happen with these types of people. They could have been taking charge of the situation when you felt like you were totally flailing. And yet, in retrospect, you realize that they took advantage of the situation, that they knew you were in a weakened state, and they kind of swooped in, and then before you knew it, you were under their control. So if you can relate to that scenario, it's a new day. We have the Ace of Wands. This is a card of independence. This is the spiritual message, but to me, it's very, I love that the hand is gilded, because it's a sense of taking charge of your life and gold is the color, or you could say the yellow spectrum of the third chakra, which is the power chakra. And it really represents, that self-empowerment that gets lost when something like the Tower occurs and we feel this sense of like our, the ground disappearing beneath us. And it's in those moments of confusion and panic that people sometimes allow themselves to be controlled by a person, or sign away their freedom for this illusion of safety that maybe the King of Pentacles is promising, when really what they want is control. But there could be like a more benign interpretation too. It could be that you have met this person, or that you will meet this person, and they kind of make you feel like life isn't complete chaos after all. So perhaps this is like a breath of fresh air, that this person is, if you're single and this person is like the first sure thing that you've had in a long time, that can feel very grounding. It can feel like your life has structure to it. The Tower card can kind of uproot a person's sense of structure. What crosses you is the Five of Cups. So if you've been, traumatized or just disappointed by a past love, that can linger and prevent you from moving on. Even if you have the best offer that you've had in a long time, you may hold back or hang back and not really feel like you necessarily want to deal with it, because you're not sure if this person, if you can trust them and things like that. This is just kind of like what happens, unfortunately, is that when we get burned, we become, gun shy for the future. Even if there's somebody who is around you who, feels very safe, it can still be too soon. So maybe you need to process grief. Who knows? Maybe this is even a death. I was going to say the Tower, but I mean the Five of Cups can be grief. And perhaps the Tower card is like a sudden death of somebody in the recent past. And perhaps you're trying too hard to kind of get back into the swing of things, and you need time to grieve. So there are no, hard and fast rules on, timing. That's important to note as well. Nobody can tell you, if you are taking too long to grieve. It's nobody's ability and nobody's right, and the main thing I would say, if there's, and I should say too, like death can be physical death, but can also be like the death of a relationship where it just was like bam, it was just really like sudden. The other person just came out of nowhere and said, I want out, or like a slow death, it's not going to be shocking. The Tower tends to be shocking. So again, this is a general reading and not trying to be a fortune teller. I want to ask you to look and see if these themes are playing out in your life. That would be the best way to deal with this. What's coming in are the advice is the Temperance card. Definitely with Temperance as advice, like keeping on an even keel. This is about heaven and earth, the spiritual and the material. So what that means to me always is balance and like not neglecting one for the other. So whether it's you're deciding whether somebody is a right fit for you, it's making sure that they have both the qualities, on the mundane side. Yes, of course, I've never stated that, if you feel physically repelled to somebody, that doesn't matter or anything like that. However, I do know that some people are excessively picky. Hello, Libra. How are you doing? I mean, if you are the type of Libra that is a typical Libra, this made the aesthetics may be very important to you. And it is what it is. And again, not to say that they have absolutely zero relevance, but what about if you have a type and you just, for the heck of it, date somebody that doesn't fit that mold, but that doesn't totally repel you? I know, very attractive potential, right? But yeah, see what happens, because you never know if there might be, some sparks that fly mentally. You're an air sign. You're really an intellectual sign. And I think sometimes you get sidetracked into the visual, to the point where you might underplay how much a person's mind. I think that the mind can be very sexy. So don't, underrate that. And, just having those wonderful conversations can be so, amazing compared to, somebody that looks good, but it's just not very verbal, not very clever. I think that a person like you might, discover a whole new world if you were able to do that. And at the same time, the spiritual side of things. And in a way, I think of the intellect in a way as the spiritual. It's somewhere in between the mundane and the spiritual, at least. But what kind of values do you hold? And does that other person hold? And do they mesh reasonably well? The outcome is the Fool card. I love this card so much. And you know what? We are just a month away from April Fool's Day. And I always think of April Fool's Day when I see this. It's funny. In this card, they even have the umbrella. And I think of Aries, because it's the first sign and it's the Astrological New Year. Oh, yes. Hello. Astrological New Year is on, because this is the 0 card, and 0 degrees of Aries is, on this year is March 19th. So, just to let you know, the card, the Fool card, is actually connected to the planet Uranus, and it's kind of like doing your own thing, not, being true to yourself, to thine own self be true. And I think I think that's kind of replicated in the Ace of Wands as well. I think that you are really embracing yourself at this time, and that is going to lead you to great places. And I think that you're open to that adventure, and that's the best part about it. And there is going to be a new moon at 4 degrees of Aries on the 24th of March too. So we have these two, the sun going into Aries, which is the vernal equinox in the northern hemisphere. And also the in April is going to be your full moon on April 7th. So it's like closure as to certain aspects to yourself, like letting go of that as well. So all in this time frame. That's so cool. Anyway, Libra, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a personal reading, the link to my website is below in the description box. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.